I need to tell someone about what happened in that house. Maybe saying it out loud will help me sleep again. My wife and I bought the place last March, a 1920s Craftsman that had been on the market for 8 months. The price kept dropping, which should have been a red flag, but we told ourselves it was just the neighborhood. The seller was an elderly woman who'd inherited it from her brother. She wouldn't meet our eyes during the walkthrough. The scratching started on our third night. At first, I thought it was mice in the walls. You know that sound, tiny claws on wood, that papery rustling. It would start around 2 a.m., always in the walls of our bedroom. I'd lie there listening to it travel from the corner near the closet, across the wall behind our headboard, then down toward the floor where it would stop. Just stop. Like whatever it was had reached its destination. "We'll call an exterminator," Sarah said. But she'd stopped sleeping on her side of the bed. She'd migrated to the middle, pressed against me. The exterminator found nothing. No droppings, no entry points, no nests. He looked at me like I was wasting his time. That night, the scratching was louder, more deliberate. It wasn't scurrying, it was methodical, like something testing the drywall, looking for a weak point. I got up and pressed my ear to the wall. The scratching stopped. Then I heard it, a sound I can't quite describe, wet, like something drawing breath through a throat that wasn't meant for breathing. And then, so faint I almost thought I imagined it, a whisper. Not words exactly, just the shape of them, the cadence of someone speaking pressed right up against the other side of the wall. I stumbled backward and hit the dresser. Sarah was sitting up in bed, her face white. "You heard it," I said. She nodded. We slept in the living room that night, and the next. We told ourselves we were being ridiculous, that old houses make sounds, that we were letting our imaginations run wild. On the fourth night, we forced ourselves back to the bedroom. The scratching started at 2 a.m. But this time, it wasn't in the wall, it was under the bed. I've never moved so fast in my life. I grabbed Sarah and we ran. I didn't look back, didn't turn on the lights, just ran straight out the front door to our car. As I fumbled with the keys, I made the mistake of glancing up at our bedroom window. Something was standing there, pale and impossibly tall, its head tilted at an angle that made my stomach turn. It had to be crouching to fit in the room, bent forward so its face was pressed against the glass. I couldn't make out features, just the suggestion of them. Wrong proportions, too many joints. It raised one hand and placed it flat against the window. The fingers were too long. They started to scratch against the glass with the same methodical rhythm I'd been hearing in the walls. We drove to a hotel. In the morning, we went back with my brother and 2 of his friends, all big guys. We searched every room, every closet, the attic, the crawl space. Nothing. But in the bedroom, behind where our headboard had been, we found marks in the drywall. Deep gouges, dozens of them, like something had been clawing from the inside. And at the bottom, near the floor, there was a hole. Not big, maybe the size of a fist. When I shined a flashlight into it, I saw a space between the walls that shouldn't have been there. The light didn't reach the back of it. We moved out that day. Broke the lease, lost our deposit, didn't care. The elderly woman who sold us the house died 2 weeks later. Heart attack, they said. At the funeral, her daughter pulled me aside. "My uncle didn't die of natural causes," she whispered. "They found him in that bedroom, backed into the corner, scratches all over his arms. The coroner said they were self-inflicted, that he'd been clawing at his own skin. But my mother always said—" She trailed off, glancing around. "She said he'd been trying to get something out, that he kept screaming there was something under his skin, in the walls, that it had gotten inside." I haven't been able to sleep properly since, because sometimes, late at night, I hear it, that scratching sound. And I know it's impossible. I know we're in a different house, a new apartment on the other side of town, but I hear it in the walls. And last night, Sarah woke me up. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at her forearm. There were red lines there, like she'd been scratching in her sleep. "I can feel it," she whispered, "under the skin. Can't you feel it?" I didn't answer. Because when I looked at my own hands, I saw the same red marks, and I could feel it too, the scratching, from the inside.